A week of giving thanks turns our attention to this man, a Navy success story and an inspiration. You're going to hear from this doctor and his encouragement on finding purpose.
Your purpose in life is the seed to your success. It must be planted, watered, and nurtured before it can bear fruit.
That veteran's checklist for success and the successes hoped for by the city's new partnership for children, youth, and families.
You're watching This Week in Jacksonville with Kent Justice.
So this segment and the next one too, something to inspire you this morning. The focus is expanding your horizons and enacting lifelong plans to better your life. Our next guest grew up in poverty in Haiti. When he immigrated to the United States, he started on a path that has led him to a career as medical officer in the United States Navy and currently a resident in aerospace medicine. Joining us right now is Dr. Jean Matherin, the author of this book, 7 checklist items, that is, for success. And we're going to talk through this. So good morning. I'm going to focus on your book here. I appreciate sharing a copy here. I know lots of people who could use this. And really, I want to hear a little bit about your story. So I know right now you're living in Pensacola. That's because you're still serving in the United States Navy, right?
Correct, I am.
So thanks for traveling a little bit. And just share with us why you decided to write this book before we dive into what it's all about.
Excellent. Thank you, Kent, for having me. And thank you to your viewers for having me as well. The reason I decided to write this book, I have a 16-year-old nephew, Walden Nelson. After his dad passed away, he was going through some difficult time. At that time, I was stationed in Yokosuka, Japan, so I'll be talking with him on the phone. And when I came back to the U.S., when I PCS back, I spent a lot of time talking with him. What I've realized is that each time we're talking, it seemed that he has forgotten the conversation from the previous time. So I decided to write those things down for him with the hope that whenever he feels like it, he will be able to read them.
Yeah.
Maybe they might have more impact with him that way. During the process, I realized that took a long time to really counsel a teenager.
Sure.
So
Sure. That takes a long time
Yeah.
to counsel any teen, but you're saying you had to keep going back and say, hey, here's where we started before you could move on. Right?
Exactly, because I really wanted to make sure that you understand the challenges he was facing, difficulties in life are part of life. It's normal. What is abnormal is to be discouraged, is to give up. And that's not acceptable. And that was what we're trying to do. But what I've realized, the same advice I was writing for him, I realized those were the same advice that could be helpful for my 7-year-old son, maybe one day. And then...
Your son is 7 right now?
He just turned 8.
Ah,
Yeah.
congratulations.
Thank you.
So I want to hear more of your story, but let's walk through the steps of your checklist items here. And so we want to show these to you. Here are all 7, and then we'll kind of dive into them. So the checklist items for success are goals, take action, the courage to consistently commit, value resources, investing in yourself and others, giving back, and to create a legacy of service to others. So you told me I could call you Jean. Thank you for that. Jean, you said that this really came out of someone giving back to you and to your family. Tell that story, if you would.
Yeah, so let me take you back to my 1-bedroom house.
Just you that live in there, right? Just you and your 1-bedroom house.
I wish. So my parents have 8 children. I'm the 7th of 8. So we're living in that 1-bedroom house.
And this is in Haiti?
In Haiti. My recollection of those times was that I was always hungry. There was never enough food to feed 8 kids. And I remember at time I would be mixing some salt and water and a little bit of hot pepper and drink to fill my belly. But if you walk outside of the door of that 1-bedroom house, you will notice a live turkey with 1 leg tied to the side of the house. So I remember, maybe after hundreds of times, asking my mom, when are we going to cook that turkey? Exactly. And she will tell me that she's trying to fatten that turkey to give it to the doctor who saved her life. So that's what happened. A few years before, my mom was very sick. Was in the intensive care in Haiti, very, very sick for about a month. She needed to have surgery. But my dad was a farmer. They were in poor points from the countryside just because of the sickness of my mom. They couldn't afford the surgery. The attending physician realized that what was going on, that they couldn't pay for it. He decided to give his time and do the surgery for free. So all they had to do is to pay for the medication. In the process, my dad ended up selling almost half of all he owned to pay for the medication so that my mom can be saved. So every year, my mom will donate a turkey to that physician as a gesture of gratitude.
So this was her thanks to him. And you said even though you might have been going hungry, you and your siblings might have had hunger, she was devoted to the idea of, no, I'm going to make a priority of saying thank you to this doctor.
Exactly. And that taught me what gratitude really is, because I know how much my mom loves every single one of us,
Right.
especially me. But she will give that turkey to that physician because she believed it was important to say thank you.
Yeah.
And up to this point, that lesson of gratitude stays with me.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what, we're going to take a short commercial break here, and then we're going to come back. I want to hear more of your story and kind of dive into some of the checklist items here, if you will. So you heard it. How do you walk that out? What we're talking about. How do you use it to guide you to a richer, more successful life? Dr. Matheran explains his incredible journey next on This Week in Jacksonville. Dr. Jean Matheran with us this morning as we talk about his book and talk about success and the keys to it. Your perspective very inspiring, I think, to a lot of people because of where you have come from. Among these 7 items on your checklist for success, what's maybe the most important thing?
Most important for me, I think commitment. Because what happened, I think a lot of time, people can tend to get discouraged. Most people want to be successful, but to be able to remain committed day after day, week after week, month after month, and year after year, that's a challenge.
You said it takes courage to commit.
It takes
What's the courage that is, why do you need courage to completely commit, I guess?
Yeah, I think it's easy. I think it's easy to be discouraged, but the courage to remain committed is difficult. What I mean by the courage, let's take a simple example of waking up at 4 o'clock every single morning.
Yeah. That's commitment.
That commitment, but there will be many mornings where you'll be like, why do I want to do it? I cannot do it. And you'll be like,
I'm tired.
No one is dying.
Yeah.
Snooze button. It's easy, for example, when we're talking about a soldier jumping on the grenade to save a camera life, or a firefighter going in a burning building to save somebody, and you're like, oh yeah, that's courage.
Easy to say that's courage and commitment.
Exactly,
right?
But it's also take courage with those simple, every single morning, those small decisions. It's also take courage to remain committed to those goals, because no one is watching, but you still have to do it if you're really serious about achieving the goals that you want.
Yeah. What is that legacy component? We talked about there was a legacy for you that's still impacting you and maybe other people through your book and kind of your testimony or your storytelling from that doctor who saved your mom's life, right?
Sure.
Did he inspire you to be a physician as well?
Big time. I never met him, but let me tell you, my desire from that turkey story, my mom will donate that turkey to him. I remember one time my mom told me that, and I said, I want to become a doctor so that my patient will give me turkey, so that I will not go hungry. But what ended up happening, that sense of desire for me wanted to become a doctor was, in a sense, my purpose in life. I felt that it was a purpose. That inspired me to something. No one in my family was a physician. As a matter of fact, none of my brothers and sisters finished high school. I have one sister, she recently finished, get a GED while living here in the States. But to me, that was the thing that kept me going. My environment was different. I remember when I was in 2nd grade, one of my teachers told me that I was from a dumb family. But let me tell you, because I already knew that I wanted to be a doctor, I was like, I will prove her wrong. I want to be a doctor. I will show her that I can be a doctor. So to me, that purpose carried me. That was my motivation. But what most important to me is that ability that one day, even though I never met that physician, I felt that without that his act of kindness, there was no way my dad would have been able to care for his children. And my dad even mentioned it to me at one time. He was like, that was tough. He was really desperate. He doesn't know there would be an option. I felt that physician created value for my family.
Right.
And I think my goal is if I can create similar value in the life of somebody else, I think that's success.
Yeah. So in the last couple of minutes that we have here, what was the Navy's component? Jacksonville is a place that loves our military members and certainly appreciates your service. What was the Navy component to achieving some of these goals for you?
For me, the Navy gave me something that I did not see in my environment. Is working on a daily basis with a group of people who are very motivated, obviously who have achieved a lot in their life, but to see the desire that they have to give their very best on a daily basis.
Wow.
Those are the people I never had in my circle, in my environment. So to me, a lot of those checklist items I'm talking about here are stuff that I learned during my Navy time, that even though I was doing them, but to me, observing people doing the same thing made sense to me to say, those are some components that I feel anyone who wants to be successful, those are the things that they do. Because if you look, when I look around me, those people are achieving big things. All of them tend to have goals.
Right.
Yeah, they know exactly what they want to do in life, and every single day they will have a to-do list.
Yeah.
All of them, those people, take action. They don't just say, I want to do this, but they take action. They work hard for those things. All of those people, also, they have the courage to commit. They do those things every single day. They show up to work. They rarely call sick.
Yeah.
And when you look at it, those people continue to do those things. They not only create value for themselves while doing this thing, but they also create value for the people around them. They invest.
Yeah.
They put 10% of what they make, or maybe more, with the TSP or whatever it is. They just don't blow their money.
Right.
And those people, from what I've seen, they have a tendency, they seek to give back, either to the country, or either to the family, or the people around them. And at the end of the day, those people, in my opinion, they are leaving a legacy.
Yeah.
And the legacy that they live in, it's not because they're looking to leave a legacy, but it's more so they live their life with a sense of urgency and of creating value.
Dr. Matheran, I appreciate it. The book, 7 Checklist Items for Success, and I knew you were going to be inspirational today, getting to hear your story. Thank you for serving our country.
Thank you.
As much as anything, thanks for sharing your story.
It's my pleasure.
And great to get to visit with you this morning.
Thank you, and I appreciate it.
You bet. All right, so thank you for joining us this morning. We are working to learn more about the Task Force on Safety and Crime Reduction in Jacksonville. There are more than 150 people who